Starting in the Bahamas, one of the deadliest and most destructive hurricanes in history, the EF5 Hurricane Katrina, a massive storm that seemed nearly impossible to escape, began on the afternoon of August 23, 2005. This devastating hurricane started as a tropical depression with wind speeds of just 55 kilometers per hour. However, something unexpected happened. Before leaving the Bahamas, the storm strengthened, reaching wind speeds of 65 kilometers per hour. At this stage, the Bahamas only experienced light rain and low-intensity winds, and no significant damage occurred. But how did this storm transform into a hurricane with speeds of up to 280 kilometers per hour? When experts detected the storm, they predicted that it would move toward Florida and possibly reach the level of a tropical storm. By the time the hurricane reached South Florida on August 25, 2005, its intensity had risen to Category 1. According to experts, the hurricane, which they named Katrina, was expected to be a moderate storm. However, the experts were mistaken. The hurricane that hit Florida caused the deaths of 14 people and left 1 million residents without electricity. Its wind speed reached approximately 130 kilometers per hour. In some southern parts of Florida, rainfall amounted to 200 to 250 millimeters, leading to severe flooding. The total monetary damage was estimated to reach $2 billion. Evacuation and rescue efforts began promptly. Local rescue teams worked to reach people stranded in flooded areas. The destructive effects of the flood caused roads and vehicles to become unusable, severely impacting transportation. When the hurricane reached the Gulf of Mexico on August 26th, the warm waters of the Gulf caused it to rapidly gather energy, and this led the hurricane to rise to Category 5. This resulted in massive storm surges and incredible rises in sea levels. Its speed reached 280 kilometers per hour, which means great destruction. When the hurricane reached Louisiana, its intensity had decreased to Category 3, but this did not reduce the destruction. The National Hurricane Center predicted 3 to 4 days before Katrina approached Louisiana that it could reach Category 4 or 5 levels and issued an emergency evacuation notice. Louisiana State University had previously warned that the New Orleans levee system could not withstand hurricanes of Category 3 or higher, and that this could lead to catastrophic consequences. As predicted, this became a reality. In New Orleans, the collapse of the levees caused flooding that resulted in the deaths of approximately 1,577 people, while thousands were injured. The financial losses reached an incredible scale, totaling $81 billion. In total, 134,000 homes were completely destroyed, and tens of thousands of schools, homes, and hospitals suffered extensive damage. Public buildings, such as government institutions, hospitals, and schools, were so heavily damaged that they required complete reconstruction. In this hurricane, 1.2 million people were evacuated. However, dealing with such a massive storm was incredibly challenging, leaving thousands of people stranded in the city. Additionally, infrastructure suffered massive damage, leaving millions without electricity or water. Communication systems and other essential networks completely collapsed. The hurricane was so large in scale that New Orleans also had to contend with severe erosion. The city faced years of lasting damage to agriculture and marine life. Furthermore, tourism, trade, and the energy sector were hit hard, and rebuilding efforts took years. Had the experts' warnings been heeded, the outcome could have been very different. Strengthening the levee system might have prevented 80% of the city from being submerged.
Police direct all traffic out of town.
Contraflow seems to be working. Unlike that horrible evacuation scenario we had during Hurricane Ivan a year ago, traffic is flowing freely here on the I-10.
But that just means not enough people are leaving yet.
All right, Mr. Roussel, do you have a sense of how many people have evacuated so far?
I would say 50%.
There are similar concerns on the Gulf Coast.
Some of these people just aren't thinking back to how devastating some of these hurricanes can be.
And this was no ordinary hurricane. Katrina was inhaling the warm Gulf air, inflating herself into the size of a monster.
After devastating Louisiana, Katrina made its way to Mississippi on August 29, 2005. Over 5 long days, the United States faced one of the darkest chapters in its history. While 5 days might seem like a brief moment to most, for those trapped in the storm, it felt like an eternity. The hurricane, still at Category 3 intensity, roared on with wind speeds of 205 kilometers per hour. Sea levels surged by an unimaginable 8 to 10 meters, unleashing floods unlike anything the region had ever seen. Coastal cities were swallowed by water, leaving thousands of people stranded on rooftops and any high ground they could find. Mississippi's unique coastal geography made it vulnerable to the storm's full wrath, as experts had feared. Despite their warnings and the evacuation of thousands, tragedy struck. In this region alone, 238 lives were lost, and thousands more were injured. The financial toll was staggering, $30 billion in damages. Over 65,000 homes were completely destroyed, reduced to ruins. The iconic Biloxi Bay Bridge crumbled under the relentless power of the storm and its waves. The hurricane left 750,000 people in darkness, with no electricity, no water, and no way to communicate with the outside world. The destruction grew with every passing moment, and no one could predict when it would finally end. For the people of Mississippi, Katrina wasn't just a storm, it was a nightmare they would carry with them forever. As the hurricane weakened, Katrina also impacted Alabama, Tennessee, and Kentucky, leaving behind its mark even in these areas. In Alabama, 2 people lost their lives and 300,000 people were left without electricity. Tennessee experienced 1 fatality, and the storm caused millions of dollars in day. Katrina affected a total of 7 regions, claiming thousands of lives and injuring hundreds of thousands. It also caused billions of dollars in damage, making it one of the greatest disasters in U.S. history. This catastrophic event pushed the U.S. to take more serious measures against hurricanes in the future. If you've made it this far and enjoy watching content like this, please subscribe to my channel and like this video to support me. Thank you.